okay, and they're are very okay with giving out the message, even if their parents themselves are not 100% on board. The Bachim today are very independent, and they will do things that they believe and they see as the right thing. A lot of these guys that there's right
I
now
would
going
say
on.
yes, but would I say I have an example? I'll give you a little example. When we were working on the Ksavas Kashrus that we did for Yud Alef Nisan, which was an unbelievable, unimaginable breakthrough. The Lashon over there was very strong, and the fact that we got all those Rabbanim to come on board and sign on it, it was a miracle. I see it as the mamish, a miracle of miracles. It's a shame that somehow it's kind of stagnated and it's stopped where it is, and it somehow I can't say Chas v'Shalom it didn't accomplish. It accomplished. And it accomplished huge, but it needs to be moved forward. But over here, for instance, we were going to have a certain bacher, for example, and actually a real siddur driven, and not what you would call someone anti whatever. And he was going to take the campaign and be in charge over the technical issues of the whole thing. We wrangled with him for hours and technical, whatever. The end, it didn't work out, whatever. I'm not going to get into the details of it, but he was having a very hard time wrapping his mind around of like feeling comfortable with it, even just that. And he felt that he knew it's the right thing, but he felt that there needs to be a lot of education to fill in the gaps, to like close the gap which is still lacking and still missing. And that's let's not call it chas v'shalom an obstacle. Let's call it a challenge. But the work is there. Needs to happen. Internal work within Lubavitch for people to internalize. That was with Chabad Chassidim. So, in the beginning, we were able to work with a lot of Amunah, but I think there's a certain point where you have to help internalizing it. But I'm hand it over to Zusha.
I hate to disagree with you, but in a positive way. Mm-hmm. You seem to paint an extremely negative picture of Chulu. I don't think it's as negative as it is. I think what we're lacking is giving the people the proper tool to present it. Would it be the card? Would it be the flyer? Would it be whatever it is? There is no brochure. There is no good, nice, slick presentation to give it to the people. Not give it. We're demanding them go tell the world there's Rabbi Mashiach. He's not sure how to do it. He doesn't know how to eat it. It's not that he has an issue with it because he believes it. I don't believe, and I'm convinced of that every single person, B'Shem Lubavitch Yikore, knows and believes that the Rabbi is Mashiach and who Yigolenu v'chulu v'chulu. Okay? Even the one who schreit talking about Ziyah Zatz Kelalkele, he knows very well that Ziyah stands for Zeh Yigolenu Ato. He knows very well that this is what. Okay? So he maybe that won't say it. He doesn't have the tools. And I think if we would produce a proper tool, something, a card, a brochure, nice, presentable, it's like, here it is. You can give it to anybody. Read it over. See it. You like it? Here it is. Give it. So I think we would be able to make it happen.
I have to agree, just because Vilan is a kratzen in Gaulish and 30 Jahre.
That's the problem. Du glaubst nicht in them. That's exactly the problem. You have to agree because you are told to agree. Das ist dich sagen. No. You have to believe what the young Leid Leighton does and the young Leid Will does, and they're ready for it.
Right now, there's a big mitzvah going on amongst the Bachim and the Shivas to learn all the sikhs of Tashnun base. It's going to cook up a major storm of Emunah, and it could be a massive thing. Now the momentum is going to be building. The Bachrim would be thirsty for something like this. They need the material just to be able to give out to their people. Once they're there and they give it out to someone, it starts the conversation. Okay, now they can shmooze with this guy, shmooze with that guy. We can bring, the best thing is to take all the guys and women, but there's still maybe the few that have on the contrary, they have to say, hear what their fears are, what their problems are, their sfekas or their questions, and for bringing them and show them that this is what the Rambam says, this is what the Rebbe says. Okay, and they'll be comfortable with it. I think they'll be okay. We just have to go out there and make something really professional, really colorful, very attractive, good enough for everyone. I mean, if you have to make 2 styles, 2 versions, fine. But I'm saying I think maybe it could be done today, probably with, you write everything in English and you write the Makairis. I think it's. And if you get people on board with this, you'll have money. There are probably even Goyish organizations that if you can convince them and show them al pi halacha why, tell them to listen. Hey guys, with all due respect, Yashka no Yashka. Bottom line is Messiah is a Jewish thing. It started with Jewish and it ends with Jewish. And let's talk about now what's real. This is what the halachic guidelines are, classifications are, criteria are for the person who has to be the Messiah. So this is the man of our generation. It's him. He already announced that God told him, and if you want to know how authentic he is, you can look up online and you'll see all the miracles and amazing wonders that he's been doing all the time. And they'll start to realize. I mean, Goyim already today. I mean, look at that thing someone posted the other day with this lady and the TSA agent in the airport, Schwarzer, wearing a picture of the Rebbe on her chest. She doesn't go anywhere without it. I mean, the Goyim, many Goyim, they stop in the street, ask them, who's the Messiah? They're telling, oh, the Rebbe in Brooklyn. It's. I think we have to jump in a little bit. Nachum and Ananadav have to go ahead. And we should go with all the meisters, with the Shluchim office, with the Americans, with everyone. Let's talk to them and maybe try to get them to, they can give their aid.
If you want everybody on board, I think maybe just stop. Because you're gonna get, you might get pushback. When did the Rebbe tell us in Mitzvah that we have to go tell the Goyim that you have to accept the Rebbe's Mashiach? We didn't hear this from the Rebbe directly, to say the least. But let's say if we present this within 7 mitzvahs Noach, if we produce a nice Sheva Mitzvah Noach brochure, and all this leads us to the recognition, the welcoming Mashiach. And by the way, we have a candidate. If you're looking for a candidate, we got a candidate for the job. Then I think you can get a lot of people on board.
Right, but I'm saying the fact alone that the Rebbe all the years did not allow, and then at some point that changed and he did allow, to me, giving Rishus is basically, I look at it like...
Okay, hold on. Say something, a minute. I'm very confused.
Allowed what? 1 second, I'm interrupting you.
They didn't allow to officially go out to the public and say that who?
To the Goyim or to the Eden?
When you listen, between you and me, when you say it to the Yidden, it's like it's the same as saying to the Goyim because it's out there. If you're publishing, you're putting it online, you're putting it in newspapers, it's to the whole world. The Rebbe did not let us go out and publicize it to the world. And then he changed, he lifted the bar and he allowed it. And yes, to the I don't remember the Rav's name in South Africa at that time. Whatever the Rebbe answered them that. Just okay. So each Rav on his place. I'm sure that same thing with the Shluchim. Never said check that. Huh?
Yeah, but this was all within the community. This was never to the Goyish world. I mean, unless I stand to be corrected, anybody knows. Did the Rebbe ever tell us that we have to go out to the world and tell them that you have to welcome Mashiach to the Goyish world directly, and to tell them that who is Mashiach? I don't know.
Okay, 1 second. If the Rebbe wouldn't want the Goyim to get this message, then he would have made guidelines when he gave permission to put signs with his picture in the center of it, all about Yisrael, saying Baruch Bar Melech HaMashiach. The Rebbe would have said, okay, only hang it in shuls or Mekaymes HaYehudim. The Rebbe didn't do that. The Rebbe allowed it.
I think you're extrapolating a little bit further. I mean, I'm not saying that we should or we shouldn't. That's not what I'm saying. But I think to imply that we have a clear directive from the Rebbe to go do that, I don't know. Maybe I misread something.
Nothing's clear. The Rebbe also said that the Frierdiker Rebbe's Mashiach very clearly. So, but we know the Rebbe that we're.
No, you're mixing two things, Shlomi. I'm sorry. I'm focusing on one thing. If I understand you correctly, you understand that the Rebbe wants us now to go and make a huge campaign to the non-Jews that they must accept the Rebbe as Mashiach.
Everyone, the whole world.
I don't even
I'll
know
tell you why, because part of what Mashiach has to do. Let's
not be a dialogue between me and you. There's more people over here. What do other people think about it?
One second. The Rambam says there's two things he's going to do. He's going to be Yaakov Kol Yisrael, and then he's going to also be Yaakov the whole world to be B'kabel Shabbat Tzmei Noach and Chul. If they're not going to recognize the Rebbe, not going to respect the Rebbe.
Where does the Rambam say that? Where does the Rambam say that Mashiach is going to be visiting Yaakov Kulam Shabbat Tzmei Noach? I don't remember this. I might be mistaken, but I simply don't remember that.
Okay, I'll try to look up the source, but I'm pretty sure that the
Rambam says there's a chiv of Yidden. The Rambam says there is a chiv of Yidden to teach the Gentiles Sheva Mitzvot Bnei Noach. But I don't remember that the Rambam saying that this is part of the Isgalus of Mashiach or the Bias of Mashiach to either Becheskes or in Bevadai. I don't know.
The Rebbe never said it in the Sichos?
Eden, why is everybody so quiet? Gershon, you muted yourself before at least we saw you. Rabbi Eftzen, before we saw you, now you muted yourself. I
had to take a phone call for a bacher getting into yeshiva. I'll comment in a minute.
Okay, good.
I'm sure Rabbi Eftzen knows the Makaris, probably back to front. There's definitely Sichos of the Rebbe. I've heard the Rebbe speaking very strongly about the connection of the Geula coming to being a farsim to the Goyim about the union of accepting the Sheva Mitzvot, and that's like one has to do with the other because the whole thing is you're going to get them.
But the Rebbe didn't say go out and tell them that you have to become Mashiach.
Okay, but
you're doing a beautiful Siddish Hergish leap, which is fine. But we have to be careful that we have Mekaris for.
Okay,
if you want to go out you want to go out and have the Shluchim and the Shluchim office and the Moisdes, that Baruch Hashem have come on board and they're doing. I mean, to be honest, what the Mashiach office is producing lately is just mind-boggling. And
it's massive.
They do a phenomenal job. We don't have to sell
100%, 100%.
Okay,
right. But
if you want to come with something like this, what are you basing it on?
So first of all, okay, so let's take a step back for a second. So all the projects, things are good. How reaching the Freiin. So we need a pamphlet that summarizes in very short and sweet, because they don't have much patience, to give them the up to date what's going on as of Tashin and Av, Tashin and Base, so they can come on board. This will be all the Freier world, or maybe not just when I say Freier, I mean also. Yeah, I guess maybe Litvish, but the Hasidic world, I think could already benefit from all the Vamachos that the Mashiach has put out already. But now I'm saying to reach more of the secular world, and that's definitely I'm sure would help. As far as the guy, I'm fine. So look, you want to look at to see if there's any market for it. I mean, if there's a word from the Rebbe saying not to, then I take a step back, but I'm pretty sure that having an effect, even if the Rebbe didn't say it out specifically, but if he spoke so strongly about the whole Mitzvah Shevet Bnei Noach is going to be accepted by them when they recognize that there's a time of Mashiach, and it's time for all the world to recognize one God, and we're all going to pray to Him in our own way, and they're all going to come serve in the Beis Hamikdash also. So for them to realize that Mashiach is a real thing and it's actually happening, and there is a person already revealed in the world who's doing it, and he's here to God has sent him. This makes it all by them more of a real thing, and a more of a reason why they should pay attention and why they should start to focus on Sheva Mitzvah Bnei Noach. If it's all going to be a taboo, one of these things where there's an angel going to fly down from heaven one day on maybe on the back of a donkey. Then to them that's all fairy tales, They believe that the Abdullah Sent is coming. They need to see that this is real.
Rabbi Eftzen is back from his accepting his bacher in the Yeshiva. Stach Picha, please. Wo ist Ruben entlaufen?
So first I want to say a shakayach. It's good to be back here again. I'm watching a lot of the recordings. The zmanim haven't always been so good, but it's good to be able to participate again. This is the Minatzchim. This is it. We have to just take over. Just two comments on this conversation. Fascinating conversation. It's just very refreshing to hear that the whole world is ready and just like everyone's, you know, if Shlomo, you just made my afternoon. I just want to say that I understand very much Reuven's hesitations, and I don't think it's a contradiction. In other words, it's, if possible, to have it available, at least for those that want to use it. You know, it's not like if everyone, it's either everyone uses it or nobody uses it. It should be available for sure for those that want something nice, for those that want to use, those that want to be part of it. Whoever wants should at least have the kalim. You know, start with that, and then if it's nice, more and more people will join. It doesn't. The discussion doesn't have to be is everyone ready for it or not. Even if a few people are, there's a famous word which I try to think of a lot. That the Rebbe brings down that there are three opinions about how many percent of Yiddim Chamushin. Was it 1 in 500, 1 in 50, or 1 in 5? There's 3 pirushim in the Medrash. So which one was it? And the Rebbe says it was all 3. At the beginning, it was only 1 in 500. They worked on their chaverim. It became 1 of 50, and eventually it became 1 of 5. In other words, the goal is that's not all or nothing. That the 1 in 500 should influence his friends and should get to be 1 of 250, then 1 of 200. More and more people involved. So it's definitely good to create something that's available, professional for whoever does want to use it. In regards to the Sheva Mitzvahs, there's no question that the main campaign is the Sheva Mitzvahs, and the Rebbe told CNN that's the message to the world. That's really the message to Ummah Olam, that Mashiach is ready to come, and you know we have to add an act of goodness and kindness. And, you know these are the Rebbe's main messages to the world. I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen that the Rebbe says that Goyim have to have Kabbalas HaMalchus, that the Mashiach's coming is dependent on Kabbalas HaMalchus of the Goyim specifically, but that the Goyim that they're here to do the Ratzon Elyon. And it's interesting, I did see that the Rebbe said, which is something I wasn't aware of for many years. We all know that part of Sheva Mitzvahs is that it was given by the Eibishter. But the Rambam says, Al Yidei Moshe. The Rebbe says that is a chelik of the Emunah of Sheva Mitzvahs. Not just that they are God-given, but they were actually given through Moshe. And that's a very, very, something I didn't hear for many, many years. And all of a sudden I saw it. Again, a shock, I'm sorry. But that the diuk is not just that it's not al pi seichel, but it's al pi elyon, but that also it came al yidei Moshe. That itself is an integral part of the message. And I think that if we go with that, and you're right, that the Moshe of our generation, the Rebbe, gives us a message. I think that's a much easier way and maybe more fitting way to give over the Rebbe's message. If you want to include the Rebbe as a person, which is important, and there's no question, the idea of Lefaisem L'chol Anshe Ador, the Pashtus includes the Goyim as well, about the Navi B'Yisrael. The Rebbe didn't say the goal of Lefaisem to all the Yidden. The Hira of Shoftim Nun Alef is Lefaisem L'chol Anshe Ador. The Goyim are included in the Anshe Ador as well.
Did I mention?
What?
The Goyim b'shem Anshe Yikro?
I think so. Yeah, in other words, in the Hira of the Rebbe, the Pashtus, it includes the Goyim. That's I'll peep out. Reb Reuven, are you masking with that?
I missed the last thing.
Lefaisem l'chol anshe ador includes the Goyim.
You said regarding the Rebbe said you should be lefaisem l'chol anshe ador.
Yeah, the nevuah.
Regarding the nevuah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not hearing.
Regarding the nevuah, I've always understood it to include the Goyim, like the Rambam said.
Anshe ador, I also understood always to mean the Goyim as well.
Because when the Rambam says that Visakin Kol Olam Avedis Hashem, right? The Rebbe says that includes the Goyim and all that when it says Kol Adam, that includes the Goyim as well. So I mean, again, I could be wrong, but the way I always understood L'chol Anshe Ador mitzad the nevuah aspect is that includes the Goyim as well. This is just the way I understood it. Reb Zusha, you didn't understand it that way?
I honestly, I never looked at it this way. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I mean, you can add another point to it. I mean, the Rambam says clearly that why did the Rebbe allow Oisam Meshugazeh on Yeshu of the Sakin to prepare the world by the coming of Mashiach, right? So there is definitely the ultimate goal is obviously the whole world has to accept, but that we have to go out to campaign. I never saw it this way. I might be wrong, but if yes, maybe it's part of the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach, which brings to the Nekuda of the Kulam Shechem Echad.
There's no question it has to be connected with Sheva Mitzvahs.
The Chayas Sada Sicha, when the Rebbe sends all the shluchim back to their places to educate and to teach in Yonashal Mashiach to L'chura, that seems to be implying Yidden. There doesn't seem to be any hint of Goyim at all.
Correct.
Okay.
But the Anshe Ador, and I think Reb Zusha is correct. The message we want from them is Sheva Mitzvahs, but it should come from the Novi Hador, that the same way the original Sheva Mitzvahs came through Ayidei Moshe, and that's an integral part of the Emunah. So our message to them is that our Novi Hador, our Moshe Rabbeinu, has told us that it's imminent.
So we had proposed a few months ago, and a lot of our proposals that we've been proposing, we're going back and forth and dancing from thing to thing, was to do a massive Nevuah campaign. And whatever reason, we spoke and it never took off. But that I believe we could do a documentary, we could do something. People you can't come and sell people stories about Nevuah unless you back it up. And you show what a Navi is, and then you show the Rebbe's Nevuahs, and so on and so forth. So but these are education of campaigns, and they involve a couple of steps.
There's no question, but that if our goal is Lafarsa Mechol Anshe Ador, which is a huge, it's a massive mission with a lot of work to do. And even that, I mean, just think about those oisias. Every time I read it, it's hard to believe that the Rebbe actually said it, wrote it, and was magia. That the Eibishtet ois kliben about bchira was mitzadatz ma ishlei berechecha von Anshe Ador as ungiven eitzes. I mean, how clearer can the Rebbe be writing about himself? I think it's even scarier than to say he's Mashiach. And
everybody in the generation should find their counsel with him.
Yeah.
What's going on? I'm confused. How many things are we bringing out there? Are we saying we're going to do? We have like 5 things on the table. I think the Yom Iyun is more important than everything else, in my opinion, my humble opinion.
Listen, there are a few on a kitchen stove that have modern ones that have, I think, 5, 2 on the side. So we have 5 pots cooking.
What can we do?
Not cooking.
So 1 minute. You want to have another 2?
Maybe.
Yeah, my wait a bit. For the food to be ready.
I am afraid to say we don't have anything cooking. We have a wish list.
No. The young Eon was hold on. We have the person that knows this guy from Torah Anytime, right? He posted as a shliach that knows him. He lives across the street from him, right? Someone posted last week. So we everybody have a connection.
And what happened to the connection?
Well, let's go. So who's ready to do it? We need people to help out. Same thing over, the same thing. I mean, everyone gets excited. We need people to do it. Who's ready to do it? We have a date. We have Erev Rosh Chodesh Nisan.
For the Yom Iyun?
Yeah.
Well, the idea was, you listened to last week's?
I wasn't done.
So the idea was to have a very serious halachic discussion, global, and get people like that are very, very known, like someone like Rabbi Asher Weiss in Yerushalayim, so he speaks a good English, to talk about practical questions during what am I going to do at the time of the Geula, and this is So the thing starts suddenly, the Geula starts becoming a very, very real thing. And the idea was that it'll actually get the Rabbanim as well to start thinking in those terms. So we reach out. It's a very part of the Indian. People can get on halacha l'maisa in the days of Mashiach, and we said we were going to take like 7, 8 topics and actually put it out there so people say, "Oh, this is very interesting. This is something I'm wondering about. How this will be, how that will be." Oh, we even selected the topics, the Suda of Shreidabot and the Levios and Suda, like these in Yanim. What do we know? So what would this really look like, kind of? Or some halacha shaylas regarding all of this. And we would give each one a different, and then we can turn it into a round table, if something like that. That was something we thought about last week. It would be a huge grand hakel, advertised well. We're giving ourselves enough time till Rosh Chodesh Nisan, but meanwhile, Rosh Chodesh Nisan is going to be here quickly before we blink.
Now, this was going to be online, or this is in person?
No, this was going to be an online thing, of course.
All the Rabbanim, many of these Rabbanim, they are anti.
It wasn't going to be Lubavitch, Tavke. We were going to have a very broad, what's it called, representation. One Lubavitcher presenter, and
no, but there is a crowd. There's a huge crowd out there that doesn't go online for these things.
Oh, okay. Listen, well, we'll do whatever we can just to reach everybody for everything.
But I'm saying, so you're gearing more to more modern.
And listen, the yeshivish and most half of the Chassidish world is online.
Only for business. Only for business.
This is business.
This is. So what happened with reaching out to this guy from Torah Anytime?
So again, we were waiting to have a program and have an idea of what we're doing.
I don't understand. You have a program, you have the idea. You want to have 7 rabbis discussing.
We don't have everyone.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, if I remember, last week we said we were going to have a meeting with a few people to discuss what would be the topics and like how to word them, so that we can create kind of an outline of a program. And we haven't done that.
It sounded to me that you have it. What's the big?
Just had white ideas, but to make it a little more concrete. This
shouldn't take much.
It does take a little work. Not much. Rabbi Avtson probably has 300 topics on Mashiach.
Yeah. Okay, so when we're making the meeting tonight, what time? Reuven, what time?
I'll give a share tonight, but it would have to be after March, which would be too late. It has to be a short half an hour meeting.
Half an hour, yeah. So tonight is too late, you say?
For me, it won't work tonight.
Okay, so tomorrow morning, at 2, the time works.
Tomorrow works for me.
Okay, so I guess you want to call Laser? You want me to call Laser? Who wants to call Laser? Who else to get on the meeting? Anyone else want to come on the meeting?
Tomorrow at 2 I can.
Sandy was going to come. Sandy was going to be on the meeting.
Oh, Sandy was on last week, by the way.
Sandy was on last week.
Sandy was coming up.
And also,
you're talking about tomorrow at 2 o'clock?
Also, yeah. Laser. We thought of having someone like Tzvi Freeman, but we don't need to handle it down to the best writing yet. It just has to have a general idea.
How to go about it? Yeah, I think it's yeah. So who else do we need? So everyone's invited. No, all the Minatzchim are invited.
Whoever wants to take it further, we can put it on the chat and say join us.
Yeah.
But we can't have a farbrengen. It has to be a very targeted, specific discussion.
Yeah, 100%. A half an hour meeting. How we're going to go about it.
So put down the points that needs to be discussed. In other words, who are the rabbis we want to invite? What are the topics we want them to cover?
So I wrote down a list last week when we were talking.
Okay,
He didn't write a list. He just wrote to listen to the video. I don't know if he was supposed to write a list. Label. No, who's label?
No, label is on. No, we thought about condensing the discussion of last week into a clear proposal, into a clear idea. I don't know if it was ever given to label, but it was mentioned that label would be good at writing it out. All right. Hey, everybody feels everybody feels that you saved everybody. Then now have to do the big projects.
Saying, would it be a good idea to have a Yom Iyun for Anash with Anash Rabbanim first to have like a pre-run to see how these things go over, which might be easier to put together?
You can do both.
We had one Yom Iyun, if you remember.
Yeah, there was a Yom Iyun. Yeah.
We had the one Yom Iyun.
Shivasa Thomas, we had a nice little one on the Beis Hamikdash.
Right.
Yeah, Beis Hamikdash, Mashiach. It would be nice to have something more practical, more
100%.
What size steak are we going to get from the Shalabah?
I mean, more often, yeah. I'll say once a month is not bad.
Once a month you want a piece of the Shalabah?
I'm saying once a month to have like a discussion.
Yeah, I'm saying if you're not bunning, 3 speakers, 20 minutes for 3 topics for Anash once a month would be a fantastic thing. And like very, very targeted questions. Like
exactly. 100%. So who wants to, again, so it's another idea. So
and I think the targeted questions should be not the philosophies, not the
Lamaisa.
Not the Emunah department, simply Poel Mamish. What is the world going to look like? What is it going to be? What does Tumah Tahara mean in time of the Gula? Is it going to be Korbanos? Are we going to continue to daven? Maybe we won't have to get up for Minyan in the morning.
Right.
You have Mashiach Bahalacha.
Yeah, you might say Garlitsky's coming out with his third
Garlitsky
now.
So I'm saying no. So you have enough to cover just to take the topic from there.
Gershi, maybe you have which one of your productions hit the most people, that you got the most views or something?
Which of the, I mean, there are different things hit different crowds, but I do think that this idea is a very, 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 people are looking for it. And even if you're not so knowledgeable, you give them, ask someone to give a topic, give them Yom Mashiach Ba'alacha, prepare it. It's fascinating. Rabbi Galitsky has done tremendous work already for all of us. It's himmeldik.
But I think also to have questions from the people have many questions. Even after all the sikhs and everything, people have their own questions that they don't understand. What's this? What's that? And you can keep on.
I'm saying presentation. Will there be goyim when Mashiach comes?
Yeah.
Well, the nusach tefillah. There's 1,000,001 things, and it's all min amuchan. And now we just have to. Now that shouldn't be hard to make a monthly thing.
I think if someone would approach Anash, they're looking for these kind of things.
All the websites, Anash or COL, they should carry it every month, you know.
No. You make it the production of one of them, so they'll take it and they'll make it their
Anash. If you give them
it'll be their feature.
To it, they will go with it. They will. There's a good chance they might actually.
I will reach out to Anash.
Okay.
Well, hold on. I think besides Anash, why can we have also from the Weltische, from other Kreisen, come on as guests? You know, to have a Panim Chadoshes, because it gets boring. It does. Even though it's very exciting, you want to have a Panim Chadoshes, and you want to have other people on the Kreisen coming.
This is not what we're talking about. Now we're talking about the venue. We're not talking about the speakers. Absolutely, it's good to have a Panim Chadoshes or a Panim Chadoshes that will speak about it too. Absolutely, there's no question about it. But right now we're talking. You need a platform, right? And you need a platform that people go there and that people will, let's be practical. All our wonderful, and I don't want to be negative, Chas v'shalom. We're all full of energy, but somehow, so bleibt das Sachmal in eures de Teuer, in Kelim de Teuer. So if we can have a platform that would be willing to take it, and this could even be pre-taped. You can go into what's his name, Avram Gerlitzky. Please give us a share on this topic. And go to Rabbi Heller, who wrote about it. Give us a 20-minute share, a practical share on this topic. Go to Levi Garelik. Give us, please, a practical 20 minutes on this topic. And like this, you keep on going. Rabbi Brown, he loves to do these things. And then you go and you can reach out to other Rosh Yeshivas, Chabad and non-Chabad. Right?
Yeah.
But if they will take it, they will put it together and they will promote it, they will advertise it. So
I will reach out to Anash and see if they'll carry it. I'll let everybody know, and then we'll plan. I mean, this is just my thing. I'll do. Let's not forget the general Yemiyun, and we'll try to get a monthly share for three Rabbonim a month.
3 topics, and you eventually could grow. If you have any questions, send in your questions, and this might be answered next time.
Yeah.
Similar to the way Simon does his
Simon
meaningful life, his whatever it's called.
Simon built up a huge following, huge.
Then again, you can have all topics. You can have Shalom Bayis. How does it look like in Mesim Sheikh? What is my house supposed to be looking like? Give them practical.
Okay, good point. So we have to go through a list. So
I'll keep you posted.
Okay, this is amazing.
So,
okay,
hold on. So 2 things. There's one thing that is a Yom Ian for the world, right?
We have David over here.
Who's this?
Who's bist du entlaufen? David.
David who? Who's that?
David Nachshon.
David Nachshon. What's that?
Yankel, lama sagart et ze? Ma kara po?
We just mentioned his name about 45 minutes ago.
What?
Hello, ich bin da.
We love to see you.
Du wolltest sagen hello.
Auf Englisch sagt man, it's good to see you.
Yeah, amazing. That's the.
Ask him what's his opinion about going to the world about the question we had.
Let's continue first. Let's finish this.
צריך באמצע, אני אשמע עם התפילה שם, אני באמצע התפילה, ואתה זה. נו, גם. בסדר, אבל הוא שם, הם מחכים, הם שם באמצע. הם שם באמצע. כן.
רק שנייה, בוא נגמור את זה פה. So we have over here 2 things, right? Reb Gershon is going to reach out to Anash, which this is relatively, if they take it, it's a relatively done deal. Okay? If need be, I don't mind calling a few Rosh Yeshivas. Once we've established a list, I don't mind sitting on the phone and calling and nudging a few people to give a share. And I don't think it will be an issue as long as we tell them somebody's going to come to your house and record you, and that's all you need to do. Finished. That was one of the things done with Avram Gerlitzky. We needed somebody to go to him. So if Anash is going to be willing to do it, I think it's a beautiful, beautiful idea. Once a month with a series, could be advertised. These are the 3 topics this month. If Chas v'Shalom bring dollars the next month, these will be the topics. And if you have any questions, send it in beforehand. Maybe we will. This is if Anash wants to take it and promote it. Okay, so that's one thing. The other thing was the Yom Ian for the world. Right? It's not. These are 2 separate issues. Okay. So the Yom Ian for the world, you said we want to have a meeting of whoever wants to join. I think you said tomorrow, 2:00. I already excuse myself. I give a share at 2:00. I won't be able to be on, but we will anyway criticize. You don't have to worry. This is Seder Olam, but and basically what you need to establish is the topics and which Rabbanim we want to do it, who is going to approach this Torah anytime, and that's a different venue. That's a different story.
Okay, I will keep you posted on my end.
Excellent. Oh, wow, amazing stuff.
And let's hope it won't have to be posted. We will already be all roasted. We'll be roasting the sharabo. Right?
Mendy, you can do it tomorrow, 2:00, the same thing? The posting and out? Mendy.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Who can call Laser? Ruben, you want to call Laser? Want me to call Laser? Who's calling Laser? You call Laser.
Okay, I'll call him.
Yeah? Okay. You need me? What else? I think that's it.
Sandy should also get onto that meeting.
Oh, Sandy. You want me to call Sandy? You want to call Sandy? Okay, I'll call Sandy. Fine. 2:00 tomorrow.